Well, oh well, PUBG has lost their lawsuit to Fortnite. It's no surprise that PUBG Corporation and Bluehole have actually dropped their accusations and their lawsuit because, well, it was never a great lawsuit to begin with. In January of this year, the owners of PUBG put out a lawsuit against Fortnite, claiming that the game replicated PUBG far too much. And since then, they have been in a legal battle that has boiled over until now. Yes, that's right, the lawsuit is over and PUBG has accomplished basically nothing except for making themselves look like a complete clown. They simply sent in a dismissal of their lawsuit and resigned the case, leaving no comment in the aftermath. As of the time I'm recording this, there has been no statement released by PUBG, nor has there been any communication sent out to explain why they dismissed it, but now we can of course only imagine. The case was of course going tits up no matter what because they had absolutely no merit putting a lawsuit on Fortnite because Fortnite is a very, very iterative video game that introduced many new things to separate itself from the competition, i.e. PUBG and of course H1Z1. They introduced the same kind of game, yes, but they also added building, a completely different aesthetic, and wacky designs to their game, which totally separated it from PUBG. There is no question that Fortnite is a completely different game than PUBG, both in terms of gameplay and presentation and aesthetics. When you put the two games side by side, they are nothing alike. In fact, I would say that PUBG is for more serious fans of shooting mechanics, while Fortnite is kind of a more casual game, although a very creatively awesome game that serves a different crowd. But no matter how you break it down, you play so much differently in both games, and you don't have the same experiences whatsoever, and that's a big distinction. Many believe that the case was actually opened because Fortnite was dominating the market during the time of January, when in fact PUBG was in its first state of decline. PUBG and its player base had been growing tremendously since the game came out, but as soon as January rolled around and Fortnite kind of rolled into popularity mode, the game was most definitely starting in decline. So as more and more players started to leave, PUBG started to get into more of a sticky situation. How do I grow this dying player base? How do I retain my player counts to make sure that my game is healthy, to make sure that players don't have to wait too long in the queue to start a match, to make sure that the community has a chance to thrive in the future? These are questions every single video game maker has to address after they release a video game to make sure that they have a healthy player base that is growing. And how you answer those questions is that you continually update the game, fix the game, and add things to the game. This is how video games survive these days right now. Those things take time, those things take money, and those things take a lot of effort from the game development company and the publisher too. So instead of actually do this and fix the game and build on the promises you set out in early access, they instead went for a lawsuit to try to counter their dying player base by forcing Fortnite out of the equation. And that is a tremendously stupid way to fix a game that needed to be fixed. The only thing I could possibly think of is that the makers of PUBG were going into this lawsuit thinking that they may, in the end, force Fortnite to retract their Battle Royale mode, or force so much change on it that it's no longer a Battle Royale game. I mean, let's think about it. Why was this lawsuit opened up in the first place? Lawsuits cost a lot of money and a lot of time. What was the end goal that they had visualized for the end of this lawsuit had they won? Fortnite's Battle Royale mode going away? I guess that's the number one goal, right? To make sure that you don't have competition in the marketplace, basically to create a monopoly. But you know what? That's not how this industry works. This industry works on iteration, and if you can't compete with the best games out there, then your player bases are going to go away. That's how the world works right now. This is why this industry is such a phenomenal place, is because games are built off great ideas, and then those ideas get built upon into new things, i.e. Fortnite. You can't simply force a game that's kind of similar to yours, although not really, out of the arena of competition, because that's not how it works today. And that's because games are built off of so many different ideas from so many different games. The Battle Royale mode in itself was built from mods based off of games like Arma, even Minecraft way back in the day, H1Z1, and then PUBG, and then Fortnite, and then so many other games as well. So you can't just take that idea, especially since this idea was never introduced by you in the first place. PUBG was never the first Battle Royale mode. It was never the first one to bring this idea to the table. In fact, it was probably one of the very last, leading up to the current. PUBG in itself copied H1Z1 to the T. It's the same game as H1Z1 and any other 100-player Battle Royale game that came before it. They just added better graphics, a few different additions, and just different gameplay mechanics. Although I say that, stretching it quite a bit. There is barely any difference in gunplay between pretty much any modern military Battle Royale game. The ironic part is you can actually flip the lawsuit around, and you could say that PUBG was the one that copied H1Z1, and that they should be in the lawsuit paying royalties to games that came before it. That statement, although it's ridiculous, is a great reflection of this lawsuit because nothing actually happened. They dropped the lawsuit because it doesn't work like this in the gaming industry today. Games today are built off similar ideas so long as you change the core gameplay and the core aesthetics and the core mechanics associated with that template, and that's exactly what Fortnite did. All the squabbling you hear from PUBG is simply them whining at the fact that they have been outdone by another game, when in fact, they were the ones to copy so much that came before them, and they were the ones that did not do their due diligence to fix and add enough to their game. They themselves failed their player bases, and that is the reason why many people have left, because PUBG was left out to dry for such a long time. As a veteran PUBG player playing since the day the early access version came out, I know how much stuff this game needed to get on the right track, to fix the hacking problems, the connectivity, the bugs, the crashes, the problems with cars, the Asia connectivity issues, problems with communication, problems with hit detection, adding rewards, fixing the ridiculous progression system that forces you to go to Steam and pay money out of your pocket to open a crate in a game that charges $30 to begin with. These are just the basic baseline issues. There are tons more that the game needed to iron out since the release of the game, and only recently have we gotten any amount of these fixes, and by that, I mean a very small fraction of what I just listed. For the longest time, this game was just left out to play in a state that was in repair, in a state that just needed so much more. And by the time they got around to actually implementing, a new map, some new guns, and just the smallest amount of changes, when they needed so much more, it was just too late. And even today, the game is in pretty much the same mechanical state that it was when it came out in early access in terms of lag, connectivity, and crashing. And that is such a joke. The reason is, PUBG put so much time, resources, money, people, power into this lawsuit, instead of fixing their game and delivering the best product they could have. And that is the true failing of PUBG and Bluehole Company today. The lawsuit is a joke, it's over, and it has accomplished literally the opposite of what players wanted, which was PUBG putting in the effort into their game to make it better, to compete and flourish against Fortnite, but instead they tried to force them out of the competition by way of this lawsuit, which ultimately did nothing. So the lawsuit's over. Let me know what you guys think down below in the comment section regarding this entire debacle. I think it's ridiculous. I think it's a waste of time, but you know what? It's a great learning experience for this company and for the industry as a whole. Don't do this stuff when in fact you know deep down in your hearts that it has absolutely no merit. Thanks for watching, guys. As always, if you enjoyed the video, go ahead and like it. And if you did not, you can thumbs it down as well. Just let me know why down below in the comment section, and have a great day. We'll see you guys in our next video. Peace, love, and happiness. Until then, you guys take care.